Theme song.
Look, I went and poked my local Chinese downs, and he started yelling gibberish at me. I think my
he's
maps
a
are
bootleg.
installed in Chinese.
Yeah, he's a bootleg. That's the problem. You found yourself a bootleg.
That's a shame. I really wanted maps. Remember when maps, you couldn't get maps on your phone? What a dark time that was.
Yeah, dude, like that was, you used to have the Refidex in the car.
I didn't have a Refidex, so I just got lost.
So
you
I
remember pulling over in Logan, not knowing where I was, going to this gas station and reading their Refidex, and then the attendant went, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I ran.
Hey, I'm not maps. Come poke my downs.
And then they one of the first series of maps that actually worked properly on the original iPhone 3, you could get a TomTom app. It cost $99.
Christ!
It didn't work very well. You had to get literally a physical cable that had a GPS chip in it to plug it in, and then it worked beautifully. It's still a lot cheaper than any fucking brand name GPS. Because GPSs, they have not evolved over the years.
I'm surprised they still exist.
I'm surprised they're still so shit. They're like, I've seen bootleg Chinese little fucking tablets that are the size of my hand with better processors in them than a GPS. Like, if your thing solely does one feature, maps, can it do it quickly? No.
It should do it to an amazing fucking degree.
I can't bash it. This guy's always got a shield. He's a dick.
I'd like to congratulate. You know what? I reckon people wouldn't like Guillermo del Toro as much if we all just called him Gary the Bull. Because
I think he'd like it.
Yeah, I think he'd like that a lot. But I think that'd get rid of some of that, mystique that he has about him.
He has a mystique? I think he just looks like a hobbit.
He does. For a while, I was calling him Gandalf del Frodo.
I love that, in 2015, he decided to skip the Oscars with Ryan Gosling and they went to Disneyland. And there's photos of them riding the Cars ride, and that's just funny to me.
I hope that was unbelievably awkward for Ryan. I just hope Ryan never really spoke to him much.
He didn't really want to go, but he kind of forced him into it.
You can't say no to Gravy Del Boto.
He's got such a great name to just twist into things.
Guacamole Del Taco.
Yeah. I can't stop. His profile picture on Twitter it makes him look even worse.
I would like to congratulate him for having successfully created an Oscar-winning bestiality movie.
That is pretty impressive.
Because I watched that stupid god. Again, I don't like him. I don't think he's that fucking good. I think he's got an unearned fucking mystique that allows him to kind of slip into this little bubble that is normally occupied exclusively by the Japanese and the Dutch, where you can just sort of get away with being weird and stupid and never really have to explain it or do anything, good to counteract it. Because, none of his movies are that good.
Nah.
Pan's Labyrinth is just about adequate. And a baffling life choice is he made a magical girl film that's kind of more about, I know it's more about the Spanish Civil War, but also it's still a magical girl film, and the core character is an unlikable little cunt. And it's why would you do that? Cause you meant to hate the guy that's looking after her, but at the same time, she's this spoiled little bitch and acts like it. And it's well, I don't feel, a quaking amount of fucking sympathy for this little creature. And fucking this, I don't know how this movie won an Oscar.
What did it win? What did it win?
Best director.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it, so not my kind of thing.
Now he's My Neighbor Totoro, the fucking Oscar-winning goddamn director for a bestiality movie, which is what this is. Because this isn't just a merman. This is a feral merman that eats a cat's head at one point and doesn't speak. It doesn't really, she sort of teaches it language. But, this is there's a difference between fucking a cat girl that's that can talk and has opinions and wants to go shopping, and fucking one that's meowing and shitting in the yard. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And the movie is absolute ghetto romance trash, which would be fine if it didn't, people didn't pretend that it wasn't. The movie literally starts with this thirsty girl masturbating in a bathtub. And it's to me that kind of corrupts the idea of it as the sweetness of the romance. Because what it means is she's just horny.
Yeah.
Any horny idiot's gonna fall in love with a merman.
Just wants to fuck.
Yeah, that's a hole that she wants filled by any old goddamn thing. It's not like she started this unusual and interesting relationship with this unique being and that sensation developed kind of independently. That sensation was there. You know, it's like, you know, you're not looking for someone. You have a hole in your, you know, heart that you want to fill desperately with literally anything you can fucking grab at. And you see she's a mutant, Aaron. She's a mute. You know, she can't speak. Oh, and obviously this makes it completely worthless and unfuckable. And I love seeing people talk about how, oh, isn't it nice that, like, it's enabling to have a mute character, and it's like, no, they paired her off with a fish mutant, you fuckhead. It's continuing this idea that, like, anybody different and alien should get paired up with a different and alien, like they used to do with black people in movies up until about, like, 1999. Like, that, all movies are pretty much segregated, like, you could always tell, because, like, the fucking white heroes, you know, girl that he was hitting on would always have, like, a random black friend as well. Yeah. And then then the random black girlfriend would get paired off with the black sidekick, absolutely. And then everyone would be happy. And, like, it's just so... It's every lazy fucking romance trope. Like, he's broken, Aaron, and she needs to fix him.
Of course. It's that thing of Futurama with when they're in that factory, the love factory, and it's just like...
Two favorite things.
What is it? Is it... Change?
No, it's because changing myself is the second one. I think it's like flowers and changing myself.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, and then immediately starts like making
so she grooms a fish monster for sex. And again, it's like it's
people watching this
because they're deranged trash, which again is fine because I watch loads of deranged trash for guys.
But don't I don't
pretend it's not deranged.
This isn't deranged trash.
Yeah,
this is genius.
I don't post Twitter threads about how my deranged trash is woke. Like it's not that you're watching a gross it's sad girl porn. That's why it's popular and particularly popular on Twitter. Because every girl that feels like they're ugly and doesn't want to admit that they've got like a fucking raging moist for somebody and you know gets to have that little romance experience. But like, you know, he's just...
What would be the funniest thing if he just literally took it like from fanfiction.com?
It may as well. Like, there's no fucking difference. Like, there's no sense of goddamn subtlety or emergent emotion. Again, like, the movie starts with them masturbating. You know, that's just, I'm horny, I am horny for anything. That's not like, oh, you know, look at this unusual situation I found myself in where I'm, you know, sensing developing a burgeoning connection and romance with this, you know, creature from beyond the Black Lagoon.
I have a burgeoning in my pants.
And again, it's not like it's an alien, you know, it's not like it's like, oh, hi, how's it going?
It's just a mutant.
Yeah, it's just some kind of fish monster from South America.
Probably, like, grew radioactive in the water and it's just like...
This lady's touching my bits. That same fucking 1,000-yard stare a dog has when a lady's sucking its dick. I don't understand this.
But I'm gonna let it happen.
I don't even understand enough to understand any of this. And like, there's like, you know, there's some good characters in it, there's some nice bits in it. But it's also horny sad girl porn.
You gotta treat it how it is.
Well, yeah, it is. It's horny sad girl porn.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But should it be winning Oscars?
Oh, Lord no.
Like,
I maintain that the Oscars shouldn't... I can't even remember. Like, the Oscars shouldn't matter. The Oscars would only matter to me if they didn't give them out every year.
Yeah.
You know, if like the, you know, best director this year. Nobody. Fuck you.
Yeah.
None of you lived up. Like, because the problem is just every year. There's no fucking remote attempt to create a fucking standard. You know? It's just, and again, it's meaningless, but it's just something dummies will wave around and go, I want an Oscar, so, you know, it's not like my creepy sad girl porn.
They're waiting,
no, it is, you gross creep.
They're waiting for validation. That's all. It's like when you make a decision in your head, and you know you've made your decision 100%, but you still have that little voice in the back.
Run it by.
So you go to 5 people and go, what do you think of this? And if they don't give you your choice, if they say your choice, you're like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
if you don't, you're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you just, fuck you, you're a cunt.
And then you go do
I'm
what
gonna
you
make
want
my goddamn weird fish porn.
Yeah. He probably fucking talked to his buddy Hideo Kojima and went, I can't understand what Death Stranding's about.
100% believe that's a one-sided friendship.
At least this is, like, Hideo just calls him up. You're going to be in my game. I really don't want it. You're going to be in my game.
Yeah.
If I say yes, will you leave me alone?
Hideo Kojima is to fucking, you know...
Hideous Tofima.
It's to him as like fucking, you know, Del Toro is to fucking Gosling. You know, like just this awkward phone call and like, oh god, I gotta pretend
Hideo's calling again.
I gotta pretend to be his friend again.
And he's all like, Toro, it's Kojima! It's sort of like a what's up, but, in Japanese.
Because there's like this...
Ashisemashite!
There's this other character, like, who's the mute girl's neighbor. And, his horrible defect is that he's a homosexual. And he has like this... Well, I mean, again, it's the problem of allegory when you're essentially clustering gay, disabled, and black into the same pile as Fish Monster. And like, I know that the whole concept is that the fish monster is not really the fucking monster, even though it does eat a live cat's head at one point. I do want to harp on that point. Again, he's not like a misunderstood human. He's like a misunderstood pet.
Yeah.
And yes, he's got the capacity for intelligence, but again, that's quite different to, being of like, mind and culture. So like the gay guy's, not wanting to help the mute girl at first because, he's trying to hit on a guy that works at a pie store. And...
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and like, something that I've always found somewhat obnoxious, you'll see this in pretty much every romantic comedy, where like the wife gets a new, like, boyfriend or husband or whatever. Like, it's toned down a bit now, but it used to be just really obnoxious, where every time this guy would also be evil. Like, he couldn't just be, like, also just a nice enough guy. Like, maybe not, like, fucking perfect, but just not, they always make him a villain. Because he has to be, otherwise, you confuse your dipshit audience, and they don't know who to, fucking like. And that happens here in, like, the least subtle way possible. Where, like, the old gay artist guy is, like, hitting on this pie dude that he thinks he's in with. And to be kind of fair, I can sort of understand how he sort of, like, came to that. Because the pie store guy is, like, kind of friendlier than you'd think a fucking customer service person would be. So it's like, alright, maybe, yeah. It's not like he's...
your coffee, you suck your dick.
Yeah, it's not like he's just, like, strolled up to some fucking dude and not even checked to see if he were a homo. But, like, then, the guy... he touches the dude's hand and the guy, like, just is a homophobe straight away.
Excellent.
And it's like, oh, well, that's kind of sad, but, like, also expected. It's in the fucking, it's in the Cold War period. It's in, like, so the late 60s. It's not like, gay people were still, like, a mental disease back then,
Yeah.
And so that's sad. And then, to hammer this point home, this is the wrong guy. It's the wrong guy for you. It turns out he's also racist. Because, like, right while this is going on, just, a black couple happen to wander into the pie store and he shouts at them to get out. None for you, no pies! And it's like, that's... that's just a fucking deft characterization there, fucking, It's Oscar winning.
Get out of my pie.
Get out of my eye! No pies for you! And then, his life is completely broken and meaningless, and the mute girl takes advantage of that to goad him into helping her break a fish mutant boyfriend out of a military, fucking... But it's fine. It's okay because it's for a girl's feelings. That's what you have to remember. Is it's
of course.
Anything we do is gross and pervy. Like if you reversed any of this, it's like disgusting. I mean, to be honest, if you slap tits on that thing, I still wouldn't want to fuck it. Like it is very fish mutanty.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not like
that.
we're not talking like fucking a fish, but with like clearly it's just a handsome.
Like we
dude.
live in like fucking this century, we can just buy like real dolls and shit. You could put fake genitals.
Or like how the gays have been with Sidon in fucking Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like fuck, they jumped on him.
To be fair, he is very fabulous and likable.
Yeah, but he's also got like a human face.
Yeah, he's
talks.
Very humanoid. Yeah.
You could take him on a date and he'd understand that. You wouldn't have
he'd
to,
be excited.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to sign language the fucking concept of date to him.
Date?
Which is probably beyond his capacity anyway.
I don't like this cave, Gabe.
It's not. This is not a fun cave. I'm gonna just like fucking lay that out there.
Like the things in here hurt me. Oh fuck! What? Oh, I just skipped sandwich.
Yeah.
Fuck you! I have a sandwich.
Okay, go up the ladder, or
Not
go in there. Oh, have you been in there?
I did, but I ran out. Remember, because of the fucking fire dudes attacked me. And I was very low. Yeah, there's nothing in there. I don't think. Fuck you, fire. What?
Well, at least that didn't count as a surprise attack.
Huh. He looks fine. Well, this is my favorite battle music, I think.
Yeah, it's the Fresh Prince theme.
Yeah. And first, rub it off for your born and raised. I was raped on the playground most of my days.
But this is just... part of the long-running... It reminds me a bit, because, like, Grundle Del Torsions had just enough bad things happen to him that generates that repugnant fucking... I don't know what you did there.
Breaking the game.
That repugnant thing, and it's kind of like the source for a lot of modern stupidity, of, like, just pity that turns into adulation. You know, like the way morons would say that, like, fucking Firefly got more done in one season than most do, which is just is absolutely not true, and you're an idiot for thinking it. And this is that. Like, he's had enough movies kind of not pan out, and he always seems really eager and seems to really enjoy it. And the fact that all the movies are kind of a B, maybe at best, doesn't seem to matter. It's just, he's so enthusiastic, and he wanted to make an R-rated in the Mountains of Madness, and that could be, yeah, like, but the fucking studios, the studios wouldn't let him, and it's like, and it just gives him that fucking underdog thing. So when he makes something, you know, almost fucking scientifically designed to appeal to a fan base of sad, horny loser women, it's just, yes, this is true cinema.
This is genius. Never seen something this good. Fuck you, Flame! Oh. It's like an angry old granddad died and is coming to haunt you by saying bad things to you.
Your girlfriend's a black!
Just looking at you really disapprovingly, just... Nothing so bad as, like, someone who's, like, you really respect, like, one of your elders that, you know, love and always done right by. That one time you disappoint them and they just look at you like...
Yeah.
What have you done?
I don't know, I don't respect a lot of old people. If they were so smart, they wouldn't be old.
Well, I'm talking about, like, when I was younger.
Yeah.
Then I grew up and realized that, like, all the generation behind us fucked us, like, economically, like, and governmentally for, like, the next 10 years.
It's largely shit anyway. Age used to be like, if you've survived, like, 40 lions, that's impressive. Aging now is just an inevitability. I'm gonna get, unless all you have to do is dodge the cancer. Alright, maybe you do have to go into that.
I plan to live forever.
Yeah, easy. See,
I just need to upload my conscious into a VR machine and then haunt it so kids get scared. Look, can we get rid of these flaming Drew carriers? Like,
they look like a novelty salt shaker.
They do too.
Help me! Someone just put this on my head.
I don't like this, like, sort of low beat jazz sort of
moist husbando.
It's like it sounds like he's up to no good, you know, he's gonna come clicking at me West Side Story.
There is that kind of, he's got like dangerous jazz hands feel to him. Oh, we're gonna rumble.
Oh, we're gonna rumble. I rumble ain't a rumble without me.
Synchronized rumbling. America keeps shooting itself, so obviously it's because video games are too violent.
It's fucking ramping up, isn't it? It's just...
No, this is fucking hilarious, because, like, you know, you saw it, like, the White House, official White House YouTube, which is...
What the fuck was that? Why was that a thing? It had no context.
No context, nothing. It's just violence in video games, and then it's just, like, literally, I think an E3 trailer from, like, 2013.
There was scenes of violence across shooting games, mostly Call of Duty games.
Mostly Call of Duty, which is funny considering what astonishing pro-US wank a lot of Call of Duty is.
And there was no voiceover, nothing.
There's no, like, violence in video games is bad.
Yeah. It's just, this is violence in video games. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Good, congratulations, guys.
But we know that you are a undiagnosably retarded fucking Lego piece, so you'll just click this into the part of your brain that is an answer that doesn't involve you changing your society at all.
The video was also unlinked. It wasn't public. So anyone with the link can see it.
Where'd it go then?
I don't know. Huh. I don't know who uploaded that. It obviously wasn't supposed to be
It's the official White House account. It had the tick beside it and everything. Which is weird. Again, like, I think the idea that the White House has a YouTube, like, I think, if anything, a lot of government should get away from social media.
Absolutely, dude. We're gonna give that to someone like...
Violence in video games. The Christian Women's Temperance Union, the ones who are trying to get rid of booze.
Really?
In the 20s, yes, in the 1920s, were very concerned with these new movies at the cinema, Aaron, that the children were able to watch. Because unlike other forms of stimulation, this lets you see it, and therefore it can influence people much stronger.
Not a CZ. Was it a talkie as well?
Yeah, no, I don't think it would have been.
Talkie.
Yeah, it was a CZ back then. Well, you got to watch out. They play a rather ribald piano at those places, Aaron. It's not the good, a good Caesarean march or anything like that. It's just it's a very bawdy, potentially Negro-influenced form of piano played at the cinema houses.
Well, I never.
Yeah, and I remember, like, I was looking for it earlier today, but I had a PDF which was an actual fucking article. It was an academic article from like 1931 from like Belgium about the concerns of like movies' ability to influence the young being far greater than that of crime novels, because a crime novel can only suggest, it can describe, it can't show. How like comics caused gay. That's what happens. That's why nobody knew about gay before 1980. Like, it was all those horror comics in the 50s created, it's kind of like when the X gene activates. The gay gene activated in the 50s because, EC was allowed to publish horror comics. It's weird.
I don't know how that keeps happening.
I take it. I mean, if you get an early fucking chance on a fart. And when Dungeons and Dragons caused Satanism, that was another classic. Although that is a fantastic one, the Satanism one, because not only was the idea that Dungeons and Dragons is related to or causes Satanism fucking deranged, but the Satanism that they were talking about didn't even exist. Like, read We Believe the Children. That's a good little fucking history on, like, people went insane in the 80s in America and assumed, like, pedophile satanic cults were in operation everywhere, even when they weren't. Psychiatrists who, like, believed this was a real phenomenon basically coached, like, 5-year-old children into saying that they were molested at preschool. People got arrested, they were in, like, jail. No physical evidence. Like, the only evidence that actually based it, a lot of this on was just fucking children saying stuff.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Fucking an almost national dementia, and it just kind of came and went and no one really thinks about it, which is fucking insane.
That is insane.
Yeah. But I mean, but now we're here, Aaron. You see, despite all that, this time it's video games causing violence, again.
Apparently video games have been causing violence for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Which, the
50s, no one was shooting schools, so you just gotta put those two facts together, independent of any of the rest of the world.
I mean, I don't know about you, but after this video's done, I'm gonna go out and hit Drew Carey with a bat.
Well, he has it coming. He knows what he did. That's why he doesn't even report it to the police.
Can I get rid of ghosts?
I don't know. Can you? Which is fucking hilarious. Like, just the video game violence again.
Just feeling strange ghosts?
No. That's like haunted. Our asshole's haunted.
Can Kramer get rid of ghosts?
Probably not.
No. Fucking. Alright, I don't care about that present. I really don't. There's too many flames in there.
Isn't that when you came in?
Nah.
Oh.
Come on. Get rid of my ghost. Fucking. Alright, I gotta take out Carrie first, because Carrie's a cunt.
Yeah. And the thing about video games causing violence is if you give 10 people one strawberry each, and they eat it, and then one of them explodes, one thing you know for certain is strawberries don't make people explode. But nobody's able to fucking grasp that. Obviously, strawberries don't make people explode, because these 9 people are okay. And they go, but what about that 10th one? There might have been something else. You fucking space retards. You stupid, stupid, stupid fucks. Like, honestly.
Like, how many cases do we have to publish from, like, known head
I have
fields?
them. I actually fucking, because I have all this. I did this for my fucking education thing. I still have my fucking folder of all the fucking academics on it. Including, because a lot of the ones that purport to claim, to purport that there's a fucking connection will create a connection between playing video games and their constructed measurements of, aggressive behavior. So not the societal violence. They'll, they use, you play a video game and then you gotta, decide whether or not to give someone an electric shock. And they'll, maybe the person gives, an 8 instead of a 7, and they quantify that as being, okay, that person has had their, trait aggression changed by their exposure to the video game. But I mean, even like there was a UQ one that found that the content of the video game is irrelevant if it had a higher correlation on post-game aggression or positive or negative was if the game was cooperative. So if you have a violent game that's cooperative, it actually encourages pro-social behavior and not aggressive or violent behavior.
Yeah.
And also, everywhere has video games, including places that have, again, it's that strawberry issue. Sweden has heaps of video games. Some of the lowest street violence on earth.
Yeah.
El Salvador has video games. Some of the most.
Did you ever think maybe it's not a video game?
This is almost, it's almost like it's not that.
It's almost like that person was chemically imbalanced in the head and has something wrong with them.
Yeah. Well, Australia's got violent video games, lots of them. It's got mentals, lots of them.
Yeah, like
weirdly
we don't
low
allow
on
sex through, but we allow psychological and mental like you wouldn't believe.
Oh fuck yeah. But obviously it's the video games.
Obviously.
Well, it's like the comics. You can't just prove that. There was no gays before comics.
Comics, that is the number one reason for gay.
Fuck yeah.
Undoubtedly, I didn't work that time.
Shit.
I don't know what the method here is, because they made
Grant Morrison's Superman run had me sucking dick for weeks.
They made Green Lantern a gay, like one of the lanterns, and I read that, and before I knew it, I had peen in my mouth.
Yeah, you don't even finish that fucking sentence.
Holy fuck!
Your soul has been.
I need to run. Oh no, they're all alive. It said mortal on every single one.
Yeah, that's weird. Hello.
Alright, I'm glad. I've been killing this thing in one turn every time. I haven't let it attack. Now I'm glad to know that I can't let it attack.
Yeah, no, he's a prick. It's gonna be interesting to see how this, sort of public attack on video games affects Trump's base of undiagnosed retards. Because that's the only other thing they have. So it's a good way to split, your support, which is a peculiar choice at this juncture. I mean, right when you're about to talk, North Korea out of nukes, it's a real shame to pick two fights at once. I mean, if anything, I'd be going after the gay comics.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't trust them.
Once we clear sodomy up, everything else will fall pretty much into place.
It's a good world, first sodomy, next world peace.
The retarded Trump supporters are the new social justice warriors for me, because every fucking time, one will pop up on Twitter and be like, hey, you shouldn't insult me. And it's like...
But they talk to you.
Yeah, they're still because it used to be the fucking social justice posers. They'd fucking be like, oh, don't say retarded. And I just tell them they don't matter. And after a while, they fucking seem to actually learn. And I hate, the fucking Trump retards worse, because they jump up and down and say, oh, we're not easily triggered, fuck yeah, trigger a liberal, blah, 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 blah. And then are the most easily triggered fucking numpties on the face of the earth. And, one set of retards says giant retards on the box. And I'm like, okay, look, I just don't open the giant retard box and we're okay. And the other box says cake. And it's not cake, there's fucking giant retards in there. And it's you're the ones mislabeling, and that's the part that fucking gets on my tits. Even now, I just know one of them's gonna, be upset that I've said something that will insult them, and that'll imply that I'm not aware that I'm insulting them, and that's always the funniest part to me. It's kind of insulting. Yeah, God, really, calling you a fucking shit-eating moron is kind of insulting. God, fucking... one of them, the last one I had that I fucking responded to was I don't even remember what the joke was. It was a joke about Roy Moore, fucking liking 15-year-old girls, which is fairly, again, it's well established, even by his own statements about his attitudes toward 15-year-old girls, noticing his wife when she was 15.
Oh.
And shit like that. Yeah, he was the glorified, deranged, fucking lunatic that was managed to get beat in, I want to say Alabama. It was
Alabama Slammer.
The Alabamiacs managed to not elect him. Because yeah, because I can't remember what the joke was, but it's just it's just some joke about that. And this pointless waste of existence is just that's in terrible taste. And okay, two things. A, if you follow me on Twitter and you complain about anything being in terrible...
Do they know who you are?
Yeah. Like, this person is someone who's followed me for a while, too, so it's just like, I know... Because, you know, they'd said stupid shit earlier, but I kind of just ignored it. And then this finally just made me snap. Like, really? That's, like, terrible taste? Like... And again, it's that fucking fraud thought pattern of it's only in terrible taste when it's about me and my tendies. You know, and I'm just like, you're a fuckhead. Just, you know, what's... Like, it's, you know, A, he goes, yeah, you know, guilty until... It's innocent until proven guilty. It's like, A... You know, O.J. Simpson was found innocent and can't still make jokes about him being a murderer all the goddamn time. B, I don't care if it's in bad taste, you stupid fucking child. C, 2 items down in his Twitter feed is him, like, you know, retweet this to trigger a liberal, and it's like...
Excellent.
Okay, you see, here we have the problem. You are a fucking waste of life. Like, you wouldn't even be good as organs. You know, like, just, again, the bar is very low these days on how to not be a giant piece of shit. All you have to do is be benign. Like, the world is so full of cancerous growth. All you have to be is a not benign tumor. And you can, you know, just get along fine.
Hard, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they should make some of those, you know, those shape blocks where you push them through and they've got shape holes. And so, like, if you get it wrong, it just says you're a dick. It's just like, you gotta do it simple. Oh, you got it wrong. You're a dick. Well,
preschool should just last indefinitely. Like, you should have to, like, manually level up out of preschool. You know, this is not automatic.
Keep It Classy is proudly sponsored completely by its fans. We thank you for your support.
It can expand it somehow. I'll have you know